Hello, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Yes, of course, it's Ask Rob and Rob. It's Tuesday. What else did you expect? It could only mean that we're going to be back to answer a couple of property questions. And we've got a couple of corkers today. Really good questions coming in. But that pile of questions could easily start to be depleted unless you top it up. And so if you've got a burning property question, here's how you get in touch.
Yep, you've got two options. You can call in or you can do it via your computer. So if you're going to call, pick up your phone and dial 013 808 00035 or go to thepropertyhub.net/ask. Super simple. Lots of people have done it, just like Ruth has from Cheltenham.
Hi, Rob and Rob. It's Ruth from Cheltenham here. I have a question with regards to sourcing companies. I am concerned that I'm going to be a dithering Derek, but I would just like to understand a little bit more about how a sourcing company might be able to help me not to be a dithering Derek, and sort of understand a little bit more about the fees that they charge, the services, and how they can actually help hold hands almost with a sort of a first-time investor to make sure that they're getting the right returns, et cetera, et cetera. So if you could explain a little bit more about how that works, that would be really, really helpful. Thanks so much again for all of your input that you give us. I wait with bated breath every week for new podcasts to come out, so keep up the good work. Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.
If only we knew someone from a sourcing company who could give us the inside scoop on this kind of thing. Oh yeah, Rob, you run a sourcing company. So this is where we have to be careful and make sure it can't look like a sales pitch. But I'm sure by talking through what you do at RMP, you can give some insight into how sourcing companies work more generally.
I certainly can, but I don't think anybody's going to accuse us of doing a sales pitch. Loads of people don't actually know what we do. So there you go. One of the things I do is run a property investment company called RMP Property. So what does RMP Property or any other sourcing company do? Well, if they do it well, they'll go out and find deals that you would struggle to get hold of yourself. So that may be done in a few different ways. You may be after a certain type of property, so for example, a HMO. So there'll be companies out there that specialise in packaging and finding HMO deals. RMP Property does professional buy-to-lets in major towns and cities. So if you're looking for a more hands-off experience, that's how a company like that could help you. It really depends on what you want. But if they're good, they'll go out to the market, get a stronger deal than you could do yourself, put a lot of research together for you, and then you fast-track your portfolio because if they're any good, the company will do all the running around for you and guide you through the entire experience. RMP Property, for example, looks to get below market value deals. So if the property's worth 100, a sourcing company that looks to get below market value will beat that price and say, right, we've got it for 85. Now, word of warning, you may be a dithering Derek and you may want to be hands-off, but that does not mean you don't do your research. So even if you trust the company you work with, that's lovely, but one of the sayings I use a lot is trust but validate. You have to be very confident in your decision, and if you're going to put any work in, it'll be through the researching the companies you're potentially going to work with and researching any deal that they present to you. Those investment packs that I talked about, which give you all the information about the deal, that's not the end of your due diligence, that's the beginning. It just makes it easier for you to then go out and do your own because you've got a starting point. But don't rely on other people's knowledge and judgment. Trust, but validate it, because if you come from a position of trust and you've done the research and you're happy with it as well, then you're in a win-win. It's when you don't have the knowledge or you don't have the trust, then things fall down. So make sure you have both.
Wise words indeed. Great answer. Don't think I've got a lot to add to that. So let's move straight on to our second question, who comes from a mystery walker.
Hi, Rob and Rob. Thank you so much for all the information and motivation in your podcasts. I have been motivated by you to get the process going of starting in my first buy-to-let. Sorry about the noise. That's because you accompany me on my early morning walks. I was talking to a mortgage broker yesterday doing what you said that I should do, getting my finances in order, seeing what my options are. and she mentioned something called a special purchase vehicle, which I've never heard of before. Sorry if I'm binge listening, but I haven't quite heard all your podcasts. How come I've never heard of it? It seems to be like some kind of midway point between purchasing as an individual and purchasing in a limited company. If you haven't already done this, could you outline what the advantages and disadvantages are of a special purchase vehicle? That would be really, really helpful. I'm, again, very, very grateful for all the information and motivation you provided. Thanks again. Bye.
Sounds very fancy pants, Rob, is it?
Well, no. All an SPV is just a company that does one thing. So it's a special purpose vehicle. So while normally you might have a trading company that does all kinds of different activities, an SPV is just a company that's set up specifically to hold a particular asset. And the reason for that is controlling risk. So if, for example, you've got a property development project, you want that to happen within an SPV. So if anything goes wrong, it doesn't affect any other companies that you may own. In the context of buy-to-let, an SPV really is just a company that holds your property portfolio. And even if you have another company, so for example, you're a contractor, normally mortgage lenders will want your property to be held within a company for that purpose. So other business activities can't go wrong and affect the properties that they've loaned on. So not a halfway house between a company and an individual. It is just a company that holds property. But it does sound a lot more fancy. So go and tell your mates that you've got an SPV. They'll probably be a lot more impressed than if you just said you've got a company.
Or think you've got some terrible disease. Evil. Right. On that note, we probably should move on to something very important and not silly, and that's subscribing to the podcast. Yes, dear listener, it's come to our attention that people listen to the podcast, but don't subscribe. They just check in every now and again. Now, if you're one of those people, don't worry, we're going to put you right. You need to subscribe. So go to your mobile device, if it's an iPhone, the podcast app you use, and press subscribe, and all your podcasts will be delivered to you automatically week by week. Or if you've got an Android phone, download a podcast app and do the same. That way we can deliver you our lovely podcasts on a Tuesday and a Thursday directly to your mobile device so you can listen to them wherever you go, for example, on your walks. So make sure you do that.
Yes, do. And if you're listening through the website, there's a whacking great button that says subscribe. Click that and we'll sort you out. And once you have done that, you will automatically be able to listen to us on Thursday when we return with a property podcast, and you'll get every future episode of Ask Rob and Rob into the bargain. So go subscribe, and then we'll definitely see you on Thursday. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.